Hi everybody, Shellie Palmer here tonight. So happy to see you all. I'm telling you, these weeks go so fast that it's hard to play catch up. I almost forgot to post tonight's event, but not to worry, it got posted, and I hope everybody has the chance to stop in and ask questions in the next 45 minutes. It will go fast. It has been going fast every week since I started this web series in my journey in publishing or self-publishing. And tonight I get to discuss a little more about self-publishing and what goes on behind the scenes in social media and marketing and promotion. So basically that's what's going on tonight in tonight's video. And I'm happy to be here like always. Hi. But to first start off, I started this web series 2 weeks ago, and I was very candid in my first video about what, the things that led me up to my book or books and where I'm at now, basically. It's very freeing for me to come out in the open and discuss some of the trials and the tribulations that I've gone through to get where I am now. A lot of people who I talk to tell me that, and what made them decide to get into what they love to do. And I encourage everybody and anyone who has a dream, fulfill it and live it, because good things come out of it. And even if you're going to have the hard times, those hard times are worth it because you're living your dream and you're doing what you're meant to do. We all have a calling in this world, and this is my calling. And to be in this format, talking with you, discussing my books and everything that is a part of that. And I feel very thankful for you, the readers and the viewers and the audience, for taking that with me, because in the end, we all come together. The journey is never meant to be taken alone. We take it together, and I want to take it with all of you. So I'm glad you're here. I'm always happy that you're here, and always enjoy feedback from the viewers and the readers and the audience. You make what it is that I do a lot easier, and you are my continuing inspirations, and that is what it is. It's real, and it's honest, and it's authentic and raw. I mean, I could go on for hours on that, but just to put it out there, that's what started 2 weeks ago, was my story and my journey. And last week I discussed a little more on the journey and where we're going with it, and encouraging you and being that voice to be there. It's a beautiful feeling. It really is. And I'm always happy to be here with you guys. So feel free to jump in, feel free to comment, and I will take questions throughout the next 45 minutes. First off, self-publishing, a lot of people, especially best-selling authors who I have had a chance to converse with online, their way of getting their books out to their audience and their viewers is through an agent. Self-publishers don't have agents. That's the one thing that we don't have, where an actual best-selling author does have an agent who does the work for them. Self-publishers do all the work. They do the self-promotion, they do the marketing, and they do the online social media networking with our viewers and their audience. And that is one of the known facts in self-publishing. You will not get someone else on the sidelines behind the scenes with me. Everything is me, real, authentic. You will not have someone emailing you 3 and 4 times a day with news on my books or my promotional ads or events. That all comes from me. I periodically send emails to my viewers and my readers and my audience. So if you are on my email list, I do send them periodically. I will send them maybe once or twice a month, but I will not flood your email box. That is just not me. I would not do that. Secondly, self-publishers take their time and their patience when it comes to writing their books. That is something I pride myself on, is taking the time and the effort and the work into what I do, because it is all done longhand before I actually go to the actual process of the manuscript and book. And I'm not going to get into a lot of fancy words, just to let my audience know that you too can actually do this. It's something that we all have in ourselves to do. So if you are ready to write your memoir or your autobiography, you can actually go to Create Space and start your journey, which I would encourage anybody to do. Anyone at all. So self-publishing is all you, raw, authentic you. As I said, best-selling authors have agents, they have publishers, they have editors. I don't. That's something, like I said, I do all on my own. I do the editing, I do the promotional work, I do the advertising. So what you see is what you get from me. It's all me. Nothing's fake, nothing's put on. When it comes to self-promotion, I will not flood my Twitter page or my Twitter feed on my author's Twitter page separate from my Country Music City promotions page. That's totally separate. It's totally different. But I do let you, some of the country music fans and insiders, my friends in country music, know about that as well. I keep you in the loop of things. That is something that I find important because they're interested in what I do as well. And I think that's, like I said, it's important. So, and I know some of you are here tonight, and I want to thank you very much for stopping by. And if you have a question, feel free to ask. I will put up, answers in my Facebook events page at the Real Shellie Palmer. So you could just go into the Real Shellie Palmer where it says events, go into past events, and it'll pop up for you. So if you have a question, you could just submit that in there, and I will answer that. I will answer every question that you send in, whether it is through my Facebook page, through my Twitter's authors page. I will answer every question imaginable. I will answer every one of them. So feel free to ask questions. When it comes to marketing my work, I strategically plan it. It's not a science to me, even though a lot of people say, oh, there's a science behind it. I don't find it as a science. I find it actually very freeing for me. I do it on my time, on my terms. I do have a plan and a goal in mind when it comes to releasing a book. I think of how long it's going to take me to write that book. The very first book, The Poetry Diaries, was actually already in the process. And it took me about 15 years to write because everything that is in that first book come from come from personal life experience. And I believe I said that in the last video chat that I from last week. That was a 15-year process. And like I said, I never thought that I wanted to even bring that material out. I never thought I wanted to publish it and let alone self-publish it. So it just kind of fell into me. And I believe that was a godsend. It was almost like a God sighting. I was told that I needed to bring this out to people and let them read what I was going through or who inspired that that moment. So that was a 15-year process before I even did the rough draft and sent out to publishers. So the second book, Life in Color, Taking the Journey, that book was already in the process as well. So because of the first book combines with the second book a little bit because there was already material written, so it didn't take half as long. But there was some things that I had added on into that second book that I didn't have in the first book. There was a combination there going on. So I knew the fluidity of it and I knew that it would flow well. Everything that I write basically is either a piece of me or something that happened just in that moment that triggered that piece of poetry that I wrote. So the first two books kind of go together a lot because it didn't take half as long to get those two published right away. The third book did take some time. So I always think strategically because I have a strategic mentality going on that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I always know how long it's going to take for me to write and to get out to the viewers and the audience. So it just comes down to basically no science. It's just when it's time to release that material, that's when it's ready. The last book, which was Beyond the Silence of Love and Faith, that actually took me almost a year to write just because of all the situations that were going on around me in my life came to me and I would just write that. And it took me a lot longer because of the situations and the experiences I was going through. And some of them were really tough. I went through a period of illness a year ago, and I did a lot of writing and I did a lot of reflecting during that time of my illness. And some of my closest friends know I was really, really ill. So that's just something that happened. And there was a death in my family. It kind of really hit me really hard emotionally, and to the point where I needed to bring that out and really talk about it. And it was also the fact that there were so many God sightings going on in my life at the time, and still right now. I mean, I could sit here and talk about God sightings all night, but I'm talking about the marketing process and how long it takes me to write the material before it's actually released. The marketing of it, like I said, does not come down to a science for me. It comes differently to every writer. It's just the situations or the experiences that you're going through. Once your material is written, if you don't have an editor like me, You have to edit your material, you have to revise your material. For me, it takes at least 2 weeks, 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks to revise and edit a book. And my books are like 36 pages or 30 pages. I believe the last book, the Beyond the Silence of Love and Faith, was 36 pages total. That's combined with the cover page, the content page, the acknowledgments, um, all that combined came to 36 pages. So I knew that it would take me a little longer to revise and edit that. And it was right before the holidays. So I was kind of working day in and day out to get that material, you know, the way it's supposed to be represented. And it actually did take close to 3 weeks to revise and edit that book. And the cover page, I was really stunned when I found the cover of this book. It just kind of hit me. This is my cover. I do go through uh, websites online. I go through photographers. I always make sure to get the photographer's copyright to use that image for my cover. It's important that I, give the photographer the credit when credit is, you know, deserved, because, that comes back on me. So it's very important that you make sure that if you do get a cover off the internet online, go through the photographer who did the photography work and get the copyrights from that photographer. It is important that you do that. If you don't, that will come back on you in a very bad way. I recommend any new writer to get the go ahead to use someone else's photography. Unlike the previous first two books were my work. So I will put my copyright at the bottom of that page and of the cover art. A lot of things that you might not know when it comes to self-publishing is that there are so many outlets to use when it comes to writing your book. There are ways to blog while you're writing your book. There are ways to get involved with groups online. I have a really fun time with the groups because they're my writers. They're people who write just like me. So you want to have that camaraderie with your peers. A lot of people find it to be very competitive. I'm not a competitive person. I'm doing this simply for the fact that if I touch one life, then I'm doing my job. And I've told somebody this before, and I've told people this before, and I will continue to tell people, if I can impact one life, then I'm doing my job, and that is to help make a difference. We all have that impact to put on someone else, to make a difference in someone's life. It's not about making $1 million, and it's not about getting all the accolades or awards. It's about really connecting and having that connection with someone. That's probably the best feeling in the world you could ever have with your audience or your readers. And I have such fun with it. So if you are thinking to self-publish, I highly recommend it. Get into some of the groups. G Plus is one of the amazing social networking sites you can get involved with, because there are so many writers groups. There's a writers group, there's a poetry group, there are self-promotion groups, and there's so many things that you can get involved with when you're starting out as a new writer. And to me, I'm still a new writer. I'm still, I find myself challenged every day when it comes to writing. It's just the process and how you're getting through it. Um, there are a lot of new writers coming out. Feel free to read their material as well, give them feedback, because that helps you learn as well. So that's like a marketing strategy right there. You learn what someone's doing, but you're learning yourself at the same time. It's really cool. If you learn something from a fellow writer and apply it to your work, give them the support, give them the encouragement. That is really important when it comes to self-publishing. And that is something I have learned just in the past year, to be supportive, to encourage your fellow peers, your writing peers, whatever industry you're in, support them, encourage them. Don't be competitive, because there are so many who are competitive in this field. And I recommend anyone just get involved with the groups. There is a wonderful website called Book Blogs that I will be updating in the next few days. And so I will send links to everybody who are on my email list. And if you want to join the email list, just send me a private message on my Facebook page, The Real Shellie Palmer, with your email, and I will add you, and I will get that sent out to you. So there we have some of the self-promotion and the marketing tools. When it comes to social media, there is such an abundance of networking sites that you can join, and I recommend joining every one of them. It's just how you balance it out. Me, on one hand, I could spend 2 hours on G plus, just talking in group or posting something or a blog. You're constantly, getting other people's work and learning their strengths and their weaknesses, and you're learning from each other. So yeah, Google Plus, great place to interact with fellow writers or fellow industry peers. G plus, yes, for sure. Twitter is very active. I don't recommend spending 2 hours on Twitter unless you are a publisher or an agent who is marketing your work. That's a little different. But if you're in self-publishing like me, you want to post maybe 5 posts within an hour, and then come back 2 or 3 hours later with new posts. So you want to spread out those posts without being seen as a spammer. Space out your posts and your comments and your advertising. That's very important, but don't make yourself look like you're a spammer. People will look onto that and they see it. So Pinterest is a good site to upload your work. If you are a photographer, which I do in my spare time, I like to take photography work, and which is always fun because I find new and inventive ways to take my photos. Pinterest is one of the coolest places because you can upload your photography work and then share that with other people who are interested in photography. It's really cool. I like that concept of sharing and liking each other's work through Pinterest. There's a lot of artwork, and I'm also into art. So I will, if I like something, then I'm going to send it to someone else and say, "Ooh, this is really neat. You should take a look at this." Sometimes I will take an image from Pinterest and I will share it on G Plus or Facebook. Great way to use that tool on Pinterest. Really neat way. People who are in this business have a tendency to overuse Pinterest a little bit, myself included. I have to admit, I have done it. Give yourself time to breathe, room to breathe, because there are so many things on Pinterest you can really get into. Invite your friends, invite your fellow readers and audience. You know, you can invite so many people to your Pinterest page, which I find is very helpful because not everybody is going to like what you do, but they might like something that you post on your board, which is really cool because you can act, like I said, you can upload all kinds of images. If there's something that, you know, your follower likes, they're going to like it and they're going to repin it just like that. It's really cool. I love the concept of Pinterest. So I recommend that to anybody who is in art, photography, writers such as myself. You know, there's just a number of things that you could do on Pinterest. People share recipes and DIY projects, which I'm into DIY as well. And I will get into that into a later video for you folks. It's really cool. So there are some of those social media sites that you can actually visit and look into. Tumblr, which is my official home for my website. Tumblr, I'm still learning a little more on Tumblr. There's so many things you can do as well on Tumblr, but like I said, I'm still learning that a little bit. But it's just another avenue to keep your followers up to date on what you're doing. Share photos, videos. Taylor Swift has a lot of followers on Tumblr. So we can all look at her as an example at what she does on Tumblr. So still learning that. Goodreads. Goodreads is a social networking site for not only authors or writers, but it's also for people who love to read books. I'm still finishing up this book I'm reading now from Nicholas Sparks. Thank you, Nicholas, for your books and your words of beauty and love. It's just it's an amazing feeling to read one of his books, and I've seen the film The Last Song, and I'm currently finishing up that book. But Goodreads, you connect with other book readers, and that's just another form of getting your books noticed and getting, people to talk about your books. I am on Goodreads. Feel free to join Goodreads if you like. I will never force anybody to join a social networking site, ever. You will never get that from me. So, 15 more minutes of our video this evening. Like I said, these things go fast. It's amazing. I get into talking about this and it just flies by. But that is some of the stuff in social media. If I'm forgetting something, I will probably bring it up in another video down the road. When it comes to advertisement, there's so many ways to advertise your work. Like I said, I think I said this in last week's video, Poster My Wall is a service product that I really love because you can advertise your work. Not only if you're just a designer, you can, business people use Poster My Wall and have been very successful. I'm stuttering. Wow, that's something new. But Poster My Wall is a great service to use for business. And if you have been to my Facebook page, I had posted an advertisement for the first book, The Poetry Diaries. That is one way to market your work and get your material noticed, is through advertisement. Like I said, everything I do is solely done by me, only by me. There's no one else involved with that. So anything that you see that I post is my work, and I will let you know that firsthand. So that advertisement I put up, and I had gotten quite a few likes on that. I was really surprised. I know how to use the coloring. Um, be bold in your coloring if you're going to use poster my wall. Choose the right font so people can read what your advertisement says. That's very important in an advertisement. But also experiment. Don't be real crazy and out of the box, which is great. I mean, big props to you if you can really think outside the box like that. But experiment a little bit, but don't get too crazy that the colors just kind of clash. There's a good way and a bad way in advertising, and I've learned a few tricks of my trade a little bit. So it just comes in time. Everybody does this at their own pace and time, and just utilize your time as well, because your time's important. I find my time to be usually mid-afternoon, usually around 1, between 1 and 4 if I'm available. We'll post material, post updates, send out emails. Sometimes it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night, which is kind of late. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, yeah, you send stuff out at that hour? Everybody's in bed sleeping. But some people are up at that hour. So if you're a night owl and need someone to talk to, yeah, I'm going to be online. So it's just how you utilize your time and how you work things out to balance it. I find it important to keep yourself balanced through it all, because there is so much involved in self-publishing. Some of the stereotypes for self-publishers is that they don't make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money. Me, on the other hand, I'm still new at this. It's only been a couple years since my first book. So obviously I'm learning and growing throughout the process. And I find that important for any self-published writer. It's a process. You learn and you grow from it. And I'm just giving you, some tips on how you yourself can be a self-published writer. And I'm glad that I can do this and be here for you folks, because that's just another way to encourage you to fulfill your dream. If it is in writing, or if it's in photography or art, there's so many things that you can do. You just have to step outside your comfort zone and really go for it. No holding back ever in your life, because it is so precious and it doesn't last forever. So about 5-6 more minutes, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. You can send me a private message or post a comment. Twitter, Facebook, G+. I'm everywhere. I'm on Tumblr, Goodreads, book blogs, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I forgot to mention LinkedIn a little bit. LinkedIn is more of a site to spruce up your resume and get to find that job that you really want, or possibly get a publisher or an agent. You can get those through LinkedIn. Update your resume often or periodically. comment in groups. Groups is another great thing at LinkedIn because you can join groups there as well and get to know your other writers. So go outside the box a little. You know, there's more than G plus, and there's more than Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest. There's WordPress. A lot of fellow writers in this industry. Here I go again, stuttering. In this industry, use WordPress. I never, got into using WordPress. I do, like I said, I have a Tumblr page, I have a Facebook page. My official page is actually on Tumblr. And I do post updates and I do post events. I will have a lot of events coming up starting in April. So you will get more information that way as well. So not too much more to talk about this evening, but I want to let you all know that I will not be here next Thursday. A lot will be going on with Country Music City Promotions next week. And so that will be pushed a little bit just to keep my balance and my zen. I have to keep my balance sometimes. But I will not have the video, like I said, next week. I will be back on the 19th, I believe. I think that's the 19th. Yes, it's the 19th. I will be here. So not next week, but the following week, I will be here with a video. So just to give you all a reminder on that. If there's anything that I forgot about tonight's video chat, I apologize. I try not to rush through these, but to always have my outline at hand when I do the videos so I know what I'm discussing and talking about. Like I said, you have a story in you. When you're ready to self-publish your material, let me know, because I will help you out. And coming from that perspective and that side, I have learned a lot in these short couple of years, and I'm having quite an amazing ride. Something I want to leave you with, which I'm in the process of submitting my books for review. Since I have 4 out, I have no reviews on those books. If you have read those books and want to post a review, you can go to my Amazon page and click on the book that you had read, and then you can leave your review. You can rate it, vote it, whatever. I would greatly appreciate that, because I'm currently in the process of submitting my books to book reviewers, actual, book reviewers. There are reviewers that review books. So, but if you are a reader and have read the Poetry Diaries, Life in Color, Taking the Journey, or The Journey Ahead, feel free to submit your review. I would be ecstatic to read any review right now. And just keep living your dream. And because we all have a calling in this world, God gives us a reason and a purpose to be here and live through Him, because so many people these days are going through tough times. And a friend of mine, Norma, has a very close friend who is hospitalized right now, and she needs our prayers. She is, I don't know the whole story, I don't know the whole extent of that, but I do know that she is in dire need of prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. So please, if you know someone or have someone in your life who needs prayer, let me know, because I take prayer requests a lot. And my best friend, her work friend, went through an injury, and I've been praying for her. So no matter the situation or the circumstance you're going through, and you have a prayer request, if it's just for you or for somebody else, let me know, because I actually keep a prayer list on hand, and some prayers actually get submitted to my church for the church prayer request. So, let me know if you need prayer. I'll always be online whenever possible. For the next few days, I might not be, but I'm hoping to be, just to work on stuff behind the scenes. So I'm looking forward to that, and I want to apologize for the phone ring. And I will see you all on the 19th of February, as I will not be here next week. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all on the 19th. Good night.